The night was quiet on the far edge of Verni 9, a cold planet filled with blue trees and endless rain. Human Commander Ethan Reeve stood near the outer wall of the small peacekeeping outpost. The rain hit his jacket like needles, and the wind carried the smell of wet metal and alien plants. The humans had been stationed there for months, keeping peace after the last galactic war. Their job was simple: watch the border, trade with locals, and stay out of alien politics. But Ethan knew that peace never lasted long in the galaxy. He checked his wrist monitor. The sensors showed no movement, only the slow pulse of rain falling over the security grid. His team was inside, staying warm. He liked to be out here alone. It helped him think. Then through the storm he saw it, something small moving between the trees. At first he thought it was an animal. But then lightning flashed across the sky, and he saw a small figure stumbling through the mud. The shape was fragile, almost childlike. Whoever it was, they were running and falling again and again. Ethan's hand went to his sidearm automatically. "Unknown movement, east fence," he said through the comm link. "I'm checking it out," Static answered him. The storm was blocking most of the signal, so he moved alone. The figure drew closer. It wore torn, royal-looking clothes, soaked and dark with mud. A small voice whispered, barely loud enough to be heard through the rain. "Please, don't let them find me." Ethan blinked. The voice was high, trembling, and clearly not human. He crouched down, keeping his distance. The small alien lifted her face, and even through the rain, he saw the strange beauty of her features. Smooth silver-blue skin, faint glowing markings near her eyes, and a thin circlet on her forehead that looked like broken metal. She looked weak and frightened. Her eyes, bright like tiny stars, searched his face as if trying to see if he was a friend or foe. "Who are you?" Ethan asked gently. "You're hurt." The girl swayed, barely able to stand. "They're coming," she whispered. "Please hide me." Then she collapsed. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. She was light, too light, like holding a bundle of cloth. He lifted her up and carried her back toward the base. Inside, the human soldiers looked up in surprise as he entered. "Commander, what is that?" one asked. "She's not a threat," Ethan said quickly. "She needs help. Get medical ready." They placed her on a bed in the small med bay. The ship's medic, Dr. Sarah, scanned the alien girl with a biotool. The readings flashed green and yellow. "She's dehydrated and exhausted," Sarah said. "No serious wounds. But her body chemistry is strange. Definitely royal blood species." "Be careful, Commander. You might have just picked up someone important." Ethan frowned. "Royal blood?" Sarah nodded. "Look at the circlet on her head. That's no common jewelry. That's a Thaylen royal emblem." Ethan's heart sank. The Thaylen Empire was one of the most powerful alien empires in the region. Rich, proud, and not exactly friendly with humans. He turned to the girl. She was awake now, staring at the ceiling, breathing slowly. When her eyes met his, she flinched slightly. "It's all right," Ethan said calmly. "You're safe now." "I'm Commander Reeve from the Human Peace Force. Can you tell me your name?" She hesitated, her lips trembling. "My name's is Lyra," she said finally. "Princess Lyra of the Thaylen Empire." The room went silent. Sarah almost dropped her scanner. "Princess?" she repeated softly. Lyra nodded weakly. "My convoy was attacked. My brother sent soldiers to kill me. They think I'm dead." Ethan couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Why would your brother do that?" "He wants the throne," she whispered. "He says I'm too kind. That kindness makes me weak." Her voice shook. "He wants war. He wants power." She closed her eyes again, her body trembling. Ethan could see she was on the edge of collapse. He gave her a blanket, and she slowly drifted into sleep. Outside, the rain continued to fall. Hours later, when most of the base was asleep, the sensor alarms went off. Ethan ran to the command room. The screen showed multiple heat signatures approaching fast. Hovercrafts, Thaylen models. Armed. "Sir," one soldier said, "we've got alien troops coming in from the north perimeter. At least 3 units. They're hailing us." Ethan nodded grimly. "Put them on screen." A hologram appeared, showing a tall Thaylen officer with pale skin and bright green armor. His tone was sharp and arrogant. "This is Commander Varric of the Thaylen Royal Guard," the alien said. "We are searching for a fugitive criminal who has escaped from our custody. She may have entered your human base. Surrender her immediately." Ethan didn't answer at once. He looked at the image on the screen, the alien's eyes cold and demanding. He had seen that look before on the faces of many who thought humans were beneath them. "Do you have proof this person is a criminal?" Ethan asked. "She is a traitor to the Thalen throne," Varric said sharply, "and your people have no authority to question it." Ethan kept his voice calm. "Our law requires confirmation before handing over any refugee. You'll have to wait." The alien commander's face hardened. "Be careful, human. You do not want to stand in our way." The transmission cut off. The human soldiers looked uneasy. One whispered, "Sir, what are we going to do?" "They'll be here in minutes." Ethan looked at the med bay door where the small princess was still resting. Then he turned back to his team. "We'll do what's right. We'll keep her safe until we know the truth." When the Thalen soldiers arrived at the gates, their armor glowed green under the floodlights. They moved like hunters, weapons ready, their leader standing tall at the front. Ethan walked out to meet them, rain pouring over his shoulders. Behind him, human guards stood firm, rifles at rest but ready. The Thalen commander looked down at him. "You're protecting her?" he asked, his voice full of disbelief. "A human protecting our runaway royalty?" Ethan's face stayed calm. "Until I know what's true, yes," the alien laughed, a harsh sound in the rain. "You think your species can defy the Empire? Do you even know who she is?" "Yes," Ethan said. "She's someone asking for help." "That's enough for me." The laughter stopped. The commander's eyes narrowed. "You're making a mistake, human." "Maybe," Ethan replied. "But it's my mistake to make." Behind him, Princess Lyra appeared in the doorway, still weak but standing. The guards froze. Even in her tired state, her royal presence was clear. The Thalen soldiers bowed slightly, confused and unsure. Lyra's voice was soft but strong. "Commander Varric, my father trusted you. And now you serve my brother, the one who murdered his own blood." Varric's face darkened. "You should have stayed dead, Your Highness." Ethan stepped in front of her, his stance firm. The rain poured harder, thunder rolling across the sky. "She's under my protection now," he said quietly but with strength. The alien soldiers shifted uneasily. None of them moved. For a long moment, the only sound was the rain hitting metal and the faint hum of power weapons. Then Varric gave a slow smile. "Very well, human. Keep her, for now. But remember this. The Thalen Empire never forgets." He turned, and his soldiers followed. Within seconds, the alien ships lifted off, vanishing into the storm clouds. Ethan watched them go, his face unreadable. He knew what he had just done. He had just challenged an empire. He turned back to Lyra. She looked up at him with tired eyes. "You didn't have to do that," she said softly. "I know," he replied. "But I did." For a moment, neither spoke. Then from somewhere deep inside the base, an alarm beeped again, scanners picking up another wave of signals in order. The storm on Vernus 9 had not stopped since the night began. Lightning flashed again and again over the outpost walls, but inside, the humans were wide awake. The small alien princess had changed everything. Commander Ethan Reeves stood in the command room watching the radar screen. The Thalen ships had left for now, but he knew they would come back. Their pride would not allow a human to defy them so easily. Behind him, the soft sound of footsteps echoed. Princess Lyra entered the room wearing a blanket like a cloak. Her eyes were tired, but her voice was steady. "You should not have done that," she said quietly. "They will not forgive you." Ethan didn't turn around. "Maybe not. But I don't like bullies. And I don't like people hunting others just because they can." Lyra hesitated, then asked, "Do humans always stand up to danger even when they know they may lose?" Ethan looked at her finally, a small smile forming. "Most of us do. It's how we've survived everything." She looked at him for a long moment, as if trying to understand this strange species who would defy empires for someone they had just met. Outside, thunder rolled again. The base lights flickered for a second. The communication officer, Corporal Jin, turned in his seat. "Sir, we're getting a message from orbit. The Thalen fleet just moved to high atmosphere. Looks like they're calling their capital for orders." Ethan sighed. "So the countdown starts. Should we prepare for evacuation?" Jin asked. "Not yet," Ethan said. "We're going to hold this place. If they try to come again, I want them to understand we're serious." Lyra sat quietly at the edge of the table, watching the humans work. Everything here was different from her world. The humans were organized but calm, their movements efficient without fear. In her own empire, soldiers moved fast but spoke little. Here they talked, joked, and trusted one another. When she finally spoke again, her voice was soft. My people fear humans. They call you Death Worlders. They say your homeworld is dangerous, full of storms, wild beasts, and harsh air. They say only monsters could survive there. Ethan chuckled. That's half true. Our planet isn't kind, but it made us strong. Lyra lowered her eyes. Now I see. You're not monsters. You're just people who don't give up. For the first time since she arrived, Ethan saw her smile, small, almost invisible, but real. Then the base alarm sounded again. The radar lit up with a bright cluster of red dots. Ships, small ones this time, moving fast toward the outpost. Dropships, Jin shouted. Multiple signatures coming straight at us. Ethan slammed his hand on the control panel. All units to defense positions. Activate shield grid. Outside, the night sky filled with fire as alien dropships entered the atmosphere, their engines roaring like thunder. Energy blasts struck the shields, lighting up the rain in flashes of blue. The human base answered with turret fire. The air trembled with explosions. Inside the control room, Lyra watched with wide eyes. She had seen battles before, but never like this. Humans moving quickly, shouting orders, their teamwork perfect even under chaos. Keep your head down, Ethan told her. She shook her head. I won't hide again, Ethan frowned. You're not a soldier. No, she said quietly. But I'm the reason they're here. If I run again, more will die. For a moment he wanted to argue, but the look in her eyes stopped him. She wasn't just a princess anymore. She was trying to be brave. The first Thalen squad landed outside the main gate. Their green armor glowed through the rain as they fired pulse rifles at the shield. Shields at 60%. Jin reported. Ethan turned to Sergeant Vale, the heavy weapons expert. You and your team hold the north wall. Don't let them breach. Vale saluted and ran out with his soldiers. Through the command window, Ethan could see the flashes of battle. Red human fire and green alien energy colliding under the rain. The sound was like a storm made of thunder and steel. The humans fought hard. Even when one of the walls was damaged, they regrouped, sealed the breach, and pushed back. Then, something unexpected happened. A new ship appeared above the battlefield, larger, with a royal insignia glowing on its side. It hovered low, and a voice boomed through the storm. This is Commander Varric of the Thalen Guard. Hand over the princess or we will destroy you all. Ethan opened the comm channel. She's under human protection. You'll have to go through us. There was silence. Then cruel laughter filled the speakers. You think your small base can stop the Empire? Ethan didn't answer. He simply looked at Lyra. She stood behind him, her chin lifted, her fear now replaced with calm. Varric's voice grew sharper. You're making a choice that will cost you everything, human. Ethan replied. Sometimes the right choice does. The alien commander ended the transmission. Moments later, his ship opened fire. The ground shook as plasma blasts hit the shield. Power arcs danced along the walls. Sparks rained from the ceiling inside the command room. Shields at 30%. Jin shouted. Ethan gritted his teeth. Reroute backup generators. I already did. Then do it again. Outside, Vale's team launched rockets, hitting one of the alien dropships. It exploded in midair, lighting up the storm. The soldiers cheered briefly before another blast threw them off balance. Lyra watched all of it, her hands trembling. The humans were risking their lives for her, a stranger from a proud and distant empire. She felt something heavy inside her chest, something she had never felt before. Guilt and admiration. Commander, she said softly, you can't win this fight. Maybe not, Ethan said. But I'm not letting them take you. Why? She asked. Why risk so much for me? Because, he said, reloading his weapon, we don't leave people behind. Her eyes softened. In my world, no one would do this. They would surrender me to survive. Ethan smiled faintly. Then your world needs to change. Outside, the fight grew worse. The shield finally collapsed with a loud crack. Thalen soldiers stormed through the gates, firing as they came. Fall back to inner walls, Ethan ordered. The humans pulled back in formation, covering each other. The aliens advanced fast, but their movements were predictable. Lyra knew those tactics. She had seen Thalen guards train since childhood. Commander, she said suddenly, they'll flank from the left corridor. They always try to corner their target. If you block that route, they'll fall back. Ethan didn't hesitate. Jin, redirect turrets to Corridor 6. Block their flank. Moments later, explosions echoed as automated guns turned and opened fire on the alien flank. Lyra was right. The Thaylen soldiers were forced to retreat behind cover. Ethan looked at her with surprise. "You've been studying battle tactics?" She gave a small smile. "When you grow up in a palace full of soldiers, you listen more than they think." He chuckled softly. "Remind me never to play chess with you." The tension lightened for a brief second until the ground shook again. Varek's ship fired once more, hitting the outpost's power core. The lights flickered, then died. The humans were left in darkness, the sound of rain and heavy breathing filling the halls. Then, suddenly, all went quiet. The alien troops stopped firing. Through the haze and smoke, Ethan saw them standing still, uncertain. Lyra stepped forward past him. "Varek!" she shouted. "Stop this. You dishonor your oath." Her voice, small yet strong, echoed through the broken corridor. The alien soldiers hesitated. Some of them lowered their weapons. Varek appeared in the doorway of his ship, eyes burning with pride. "You are no longer my princess," he said coldly. "You're a threat to the Empire." Before he could fire again, Ethan raised his weapon. "You'll have to go through me first." Varek's soldiers froze. None of them moved. The sight of a human standing between their royal commander and their princess broke every rule they knew. For a long moment, no one breathed. Then slowly, Varek lowered his gun. "Very well, human. Enjoy your victory tonight." But this isn't over. His troops withdrew. The ships lifted into the stormy sky, disappearing beyond the clouds. Ethan exhaled heavily, lowering his weapon. The base was damaged, smoke still rising from the walls, but they had survived. Lyra looked up at him, her voice soft. "You protected me again." He smiled tiredly. "I said I would." She stepped closer, her eyes shining faintly in the dim light. "Then I will protect you too, Commander. Whatever comes next." Ethan nodded. "We'll need each other. Because this is only the beginning." Outside, the storm began to fade, but the silence it left behind felt heavy, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath, watching what the humans had just done. The morning after the battle was quiet. The storm clouds had cleared, and the twin suns of Vernus 9 rose slowly over the damaged human outpost. Smoke drifted from the broken walls, and the ground was littered with debris and scorch marks. Commander Ethan Reeves stood outside, his uniform torn and dirty, looking over the repairs. His soldiers moved around him, welding, carrying supplies, and helping the injured. Inside the base, Princess Lyra sat beside a window watching them. She had never seen soldiers work like this before, side by side, laughing even after a fight. Humans were strange, she thought. They were scarred and tired, but they never gave up. When Ethan entered the room, she stood up quickly. "Are we safe now?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, the Thaylen fleet won't stop. Varek won't rest until he finds you again." Lyra lowered her gaze. "Then I've brought danger to your people." Ethan crossed his arms. "You didn't bring it, they did. And we're not going to wait for them to attack again." She looked at him curiously. "What will you do?" "We're leaving this planet," he said. "We'll take you to the human embassy on the capital world. There you'll be safe, and maybe we can tell your story to the Galactic Council." Lyra hesitated. "The Council is full of Thaylen allies. They might silence the truth." Ethan smiled faintly. "Then we'll make them listen. Humanity has a few friends too." He turned toward the window. Outside, an old human transport ship waited on the landing pad, scarred but strong, named Resolute. "We leave at sunset," he said. By evening, the ship was ready. The small crew, Jin, Vale, Dr. Sarah, and 2 engineers, stood at the ramp, watching Lyra approach. She wore simple travel clothes now, her royal circlet hidden under a hood. Ethan nodded to the crew. "You all know the mission. We get her to the capital." "No mistakes," Jin grinned nervously. "And if the Thaylen fleet finds us?" Ethan shrugged. "Then we remind them why they stopped fighting humans after the war." Lyra looked at him, unsure whether he was joking. The engines roared to life. The Resolute lifted off from the muddy ground, leaving the outpost and the blue forests of Verney 9 behind. As the planet shrank below, Lyra felt a strange heaviness in her chest. "That place," she whispered. "It was the first place I ever felt safe." Ethan glanced at her from the pilot seat. "You'll see more places like that. I promise." Hours later, the ship broke free of the planet's atmosphere and entered open space. Stars stretched like rivers of light outside the windows. Lyra stood at the viewport, her eyes wide. "I never thought I would see the stars again." Ethan smiled slightly. "They look different when you're free, don't they?" She nodded. "Yes, free, but fragile." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Multiple signals incoming," Jin shouted. "3 Thalen interceptors, closing fast." Ethan's calm voice cut through the noise. "Evasive pattern Delta, keep the shields up." The small ship spun sharply, dodging bursts of green plasma fire. The stars blurred as the Resolute weaved between asteroid fragments. The hull groaned, but the human crew stayed steady. Lyra gripped the edge of her seat. "They found us so quickly." "They must have planted a tracker on one of our supply ships," Ethan said. "Smart, but not smart enough." He pushed the controls forward, diving through a narrow asteroid passage. The ship scraped against rocks, sparks flying, but it slipped through. One Thalen ship tried to follow and exploded as it hit a stone wall. The others kept chasing. "Forward cannons ready," Vale shouted. "Fire when clear," Ethan ordered. The ship burst from the asteroid field, spinning in open space. Vale hit the trigger. Twin red blasts shot from the front cannons, hitting one of the pursuers directly. The enemy ship broke apart in a burst of fire. "One left," Jin yelled. "Let it follow," Ethan said. He flicked a switch on the console. "Decoy mode now." The Resolute dropped a cluster of glowing orbs behind it. The last Thalen ship fired. Its plasma bolts hit the decoys instead. In the confusion, Ethan made a sharp turn and accelerated into a nebula cloud. The enemy radar lost them instantly. The human crew cheered. Lyra exhaled, her hands shaking. "That was close," Ethan smirked. "Close is normal for us." They stayed hidden inside the nebula for several hours. The crew rested, repaired the engines, and checked for more trackers. Lyra sat near the control panel, watching the humans work. They joked, argued, and helped each other like family. Her people were never like that. Everything in the Thalen court was cold and formal. Dr. Sarah offered her a cup of warm liquid. "You must be hungry." Lyra sipped it carefully. "Thank you," she said softly. "You all treat me like one of your own," Sarah smiled. "That's what we do. No one gets left behind on a human ship." The words made Lyra's heart ache a little. She looked at Ethan. He was checking the map, eyes focused, face tired. Even after all this, he didn't rest. "Commander," she said after a while, "you risked your life and your people for me." "Why?" He paused, thinking. "Because you asked for help. And because maybe it's time someone showed your empire that power doesn't make you right." Lyra looked down at her hands. "My father said the same once. That's why my brother hated him." Ethan looked at her curiously. "Your father sounds like a good man." "He was," she whispered. "Until they killed him." The silence that followed was heavy. Ethan's voice softened. "We'll make sure the truth reaches the council. They'll listen to your voice." "They fear my voice," she said quietly. "But maybe. If I speak beside a human, they'll listen differently." Ethan smiled. "Then we'll speak together." Later that night, as the others slept, Lyra found herself walking quietly toward the cockpit. Ethan sat there alone, staring at the stars. She stood beside him for a while before speaking. "You don't sleep much, do you?" He chuckled. "Not when we're being hunted by angry aliens." She smiled slightly. "You joke even now." "You're strange, Commander." "Humans use humor to survive fear," he said. "It reminds us we're still alive." She looked out the window. The nebula glowed in soft colors, blue, gold, and violet. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "My people believe the souls of the brave become stars when they die." Ethan's eyes followed the lights. "Then the galaxy must be full of them." For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence between them was peaceful, almost comforting. Then Jin's voice came from the radio. "Commander, long-range sensors are picking up something big ahead." "Looks like a blockade." Ethan's face hardened.
Thalen fleet?
"More like half of it," Jin said. "They've spread ships across the corridor." "They're expecting us," Lyra's heart sank. "There's no way through?" Ethan studied the map. There's one. Dangerous but possible. The Orion Rift. No one flies through it because of the gravity storms. Will it destroy us? She asked. Maybe, he said honestly, but it'll destroy anyone who follows too. Lyra looked at the map, then at him. Then that's our path. Ethan smiled faintly. Spoken like a true commander. The engines roared again as the Resolute turned toward the Orion Rift. Outside, the stars twisted and vanished into swirling blue energy. Jin looked nervous. If we go in there, our systems could fry. Are you sure, sir? Ethan nodded. We don't have a choice, Vale grinned. Typical human plan, do the impossible or die trying. Ethan laughed quietly. Exactly. As they entered the rift, the ship began to shake violently. Lights flickered, alarms screamed. Energy arcs danced across the hull. Lyra grabbed the railing, her voice steady. Hold the course. Ethan fought the controls. Trying. Gravity waves hit the ship from every side, tossing it like a toy. But the Resolute's old frame held. Behind them, the Thalen fleet entered the rift in pursuit. One by one, their ships began to tear apart under the crushing storms. Lyra watched in awe as the human ship pushed forward, surrounded by chaos but refusing to break. After what felt like hours, they burst out of the rift into clear space. The Thalen ships were gone. Silence filled the cabin. Then Jin shouted, "We made it!" Cheers filled the ship. Lyra looked at Ethan, her eyes bright with relief. You did it, he shook his head. We did it, she smiled softly. You humans really are Deathworlders, but the kind that gives life instead of taking it. Ethan laughed lightly. I'll take that as a compliment. The human ship Resolute sailed silently through the galaxy after escaping the Orion Rift. The stars stretched endlessly, and space felt vast, quiet, almost peaceful. For a brief moment, Commander Ethan Reeve allowed himself to relax. Princess Lyra sat near the viewport, staring at the bright stars. She had survived attacks, storms, and a chase across dangerous space, but her heart still raced. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Varric and his soldiers, their weapons ready, their anger burning. Commander, she said quietly, will they stop chasing us? Ethan glanced at her, then back at the console. Not until you're safe. And even then, I don't think they'll forgive you easily. But that's why we're going to Orion's Gate. It's a neutral station near the border. No one can touch us there. Lyra nodded. Neutral. I hope they will help me. Ethan's eyes hardened. They will, and if they hesitate, they'll learn why humans don't back down. The station Orion's Gate was massive, a spinning ring of metal and lights orbiting a small blue planet. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it, docking, taking off, trading goods. The human crew piloted the Resolute carefully through the traffic, using their credentials to request docking permission. As they approached, a warning flashed on the screen. Long-range sensors picked up a Thalen fleet moving fast toward the station. They found us, Jin said, his voice tense. Ethan nodded. Looks like they're planning a full assault. Get shields online. Everyone to battle stations. Lyra stepped beside him, her small frame surprisingly steady. I won't hide, she said softly. Ethan looked down at her. You're not a soldier. I'm not, she said quietly. But I'm the reason they are coming. I can't just let others fight for me alone. He nodded, respecting her courage. Then stand by me. Together. The Resolute docked at Orion's Gate, and human soldiers moved quickly to secure the entrance. But as soon as the docking clamps engaged, the alarm screamed. Incoming Thalen fleet, Jin shouted. Outside, dozens of green and silver ships appeared from hyperspace, surrounding the station like a cage. Their engines glowed, their weapons charged. The commander of the fleet appeared on a large holoscreen. This is Commander Varric. His voice filled the station's corridors. Hand over Princess Lyra or we will destroy Orion's Gate. Humanity, you have been warned. Ethan stepped forward. She's under human protection. You'll have to go through us. Varric's laughter echoed through the station. A human dares challenge the Empire? You have no idea who you face. Maybe, Ethan replied, but we know right from wrong. Lyra stepped closer to Ethan. Despite her small size, her voice rang clear through the command room. You have already burned my family. You won't burn anyone else. The station guards froze. Even humans looked impressed. No one expected a small alien girl to speak with such confidence. The tension in the station was thick. Outside, the Thalen ships hovered, waiting for orders. The humans readied all defensive systems. Automated turrets began to rotate toward the fleet, energy shields flickering to life. Ethan gave commands calmly, each word measured, every order precise. All units shield formation, turrets power to maximum.
Keep civilians inside.
We will not surrender. The Thalans fired first. Green energy beams lanced through space, hitting the shields. Explosions lit the void, scattering debris. The station trembled and alarms blared as systems overloaded. Shields holding. Barely, Jin reported. Keep them up. Ethan shouted. Lyra watched the chaos from behind Ethan. Despite the fear in her heart, she did not flinch. She had fled from soldiers and assassins before. But this time she felt something different. Humans were fighting for her. Not because they had to, but because they chose to, Vale. The heavy weapons sergeant stood beside Ethan. They're strong, he said. But they don't understand humans, Ethan smiled faintly. They'll learn soon enough. The battle continued. Human ships from nearby patrols joined Orion's gate, forming a protective line around the station. They were outnumbered, smaller but highly coordinated. Lyra studied the holographic map projected in front of her. Her knowledge of Thalan tactics surprised Ethan. You know their formation, he said. Yes, she replied. If we attack the right wing, they'll break their line. They won't expect it, Ethan nodded. Then we'll do it. The humans launched a counterattack. Small fighter ships darted between the larger Thalan vessels, striking weak points. Missiles exploded in the void, plasma fire filled the darkness. The Thalan fleet, though larger, struggled to maintain order. Inside Orion's gate, the station trembled, sparks flying from damaged consoles. Yet the humans remained calm, organized, and efficient. Lyra watched them, her eyes wide. She had never seen soldiers fight with such teamwork and courage. Hours passed. The battle raged, neither side giving in. But slowly the tide turned. The human coordination and strategy began to wear down the Thalan fleet. Varric's face appeared again on the holoscreen. You will regret this, human. The Empire does not forgive. Ethan leaned forward. Maybe not. But you should have learned, humans never forget either. Lyra placed her hand lightly on his shoulder. Commander, if we survive this, will the Council believe me? They will, Ethan said firmly. And if they don't, we'll make them listen. Humanity does not abandon the innocent. Outside, the last of the Thalan ships hesitated. The humans had taken control of the battle. Orion's gate remained intact. Then Varric gave a sharp order. The remaining ships disengaged. They retreated into hyperspace, disappearing into the void. The silence was sudden. The alarms quieted. The station hummed with power. The humans and Lyra exhaled collectively. Ethan turned to Lyra. It's over. For now. She looked up at him, her small frame standing tall. You saved everyone. Not just me. You saved the station, the people inside, and yourself too. He shook his head. We did it together. You showed courage too. Without you, we wouldn't have known how to fight their formation. Lyra smiled faintly. I never thought humans would protect me like this, my people. They would have handed me over without a second thought. Ethan's eyes softened. We don't leave anyone behind. The station's guards and crew had been watching her. Even the humans looked amazed. She was small, delicate, yet she had stood in front of a storm, unafraid. Ethan noticed the Thalan hollow symbols etched into the walls around her. The alien guards who had once been loyal to the Empire now looked frozen, uncertain, as if they were seeing a new world, a world where courage and heart mattered more than power and fear. Later, in the quiet of the command center, Ethan and Lyra sat together. The humans repaired the station and treated the minor injuries. Commander, Lyra said softly, what happens now? The Empire will not forgive this. Ethan looked out at the stars, thoughtful. We prepare. We protect you. And we make sure the galaxy knows the truth. Lyra nodded. Then I will help. I will speak and I will show them the right way. Maybe. Together, humans and aliens can change things. Ethan smiled faintly. That's why you survived, Lyra. Not because you were lucky, but because you had heart, and so do the humans who fight beside you. The galaxy was calm for a brief moment, but Commander Ethan Reeve knew it was only temporary. The battle at Orion's gate had shown one truth. The Thalan Empire would not give up easily. Yet for the first time, Ethan allowed himself a small sigh of relief. Princess Lyra sat beside him on the Resolute, her eyes reflecting the stars. The station behind them had been repaired and Orion's gate was bustling again. Traders, travelers, and diplomats moved through its halls, unaware of the recent battle that had tested the limits of courage and will. "I never thought I would see peace again," Lyra said softly. "Not after everything." Ethan glanced at her. "Peace isn't a gift. It's something you fight for even when it's hard." She smiled faintly. "Then I understand humans better now. You fight even when fear is all around you." Ethan's gaze softened. "And you fought too, bravely. Not just with weapons, but with your voice. With your courage." For a long moment they sat in silence, letting the hum of the ship soothe their tired minds. The next day the human crew prepared the Resolute for a diplomatic mission. Orion's gate had offered temporary protection, but Lyra needed a safe path to the Galactic Council. "Commander," Jin said, checking the star charts. "Our route is clear. No Thalen patrols detected for now, but we must move fast." Ethan nodded. "We'll take her straight to the capital world." "No delays." Lyra adjusted her hood, hiding the circlet of the Thalen royal emblem. "I must speak with the council soon. My people must know the truth. My brother, Varek, he cannot rule." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "We'll make sure they listen. And when they do, the galaxy will see what humans have always known. Courage matters more than power." She looked at him, her small face serious. "You are my protector, Ethan. Not just now, but always." He smiled slightly, a mix of pride and fatigue. "And you've taught me something too, Princess. Even the smallest voice can change worlds." The journey to the capital world was long. The Resolute traveled at high warp, avoiding known Thalen patrols. Lyra spent most of her time in the observation deck, learning from the human crew and observing the stars. "They are beautiful," she said one evening. "Each star is like a promise. My father used to say that the brave ones live on in them." Ethan leaned against the rail beside her. "Then we've got a lot of brave stars in our galaxy. And some of them are sitting right here." She turned to him, eyes wide. "Do you think humans could be trusted by aliens, my people?" "They have always feared humans." Ethan shrugged. "Some will, some won't. But courage and honesty speak louder than fear." Lyra nodded, a small glow of hope in her eyes. Days later, the Resolute entered orbit around the galactic capital world. Massive structures of silver and blue stretched across the planet, and countless ships moved in and out of orbit. The council awaited them, a neutral assembly of representatives from dozens of worlds. The Resolute docked, and Ethan and Lyra disembarked. The council chambers were filled with beings of every shape, color, and size imaginable. Lyra felt small and nervous at first, but Ethan walked beside her. "Steady and confident, Your Highness," one council member greeted. "We have been informed of the events at Orion's gate. You may speak freely." Lyra straightened, her small hands gripping the edge of the podium. "Honorable members of the Galactic Council," she began. "I am Princess Lyra of the Thalen Empire. My brother has committed acts of betrayal against our people. He seeks power through violence, and he would destroy anyone who opposes him, including my own family. Humanity saved me, and now I speak the truth. You must listen." The council was silent. Even beings who had doubted humans looked thoughtful. A small murmur ran through the chamber. Lyra's words were calm, clear, and strong. Ethan watched from the side. He knew that humans had shown the galaxy something more than firepower. They had shown heart. The council could not ignore that. After her speech, a vote was called. The council agreed to send emissaries to the Thalen Empire to investigate. They would prevent further violence and ensure Lyra's voice was heard. Lyra turned to Ethan, eyes shining. You did this." "Humans did this. You protected me, and now the galaxy listens." Ethan shook his head. "No, you did it. You spoke the truth. I only helped you stand." She stepped closer, her small hand brushing his arm. "Then we did it together. Humans and Thalens. Together maybe we can change the galaxy for the better." Ethan smiled, feeling a rare warmth. "Yes, together." As days passed, Lyra trained with the human crew, learning strategies, star navigation, and communication skills. She grew confident in her abilities. No longer just a princess hiding from danger, she was now a leader with experience, courage, and human allies. One evening, as they looked over the city lights of the capital world, Lyra spoke softly. "Ethan, I am no longer just Thalen. I am a bridge between my people and humans. Between fear and trust," Ethan nodded. And that's why you survived. Because the galaxy needed someone like you. Someone brave enough to speak and small enough to show others how big courage can be. She smiled faintly. And someone like you to stand by me. He laughed lightly. I suppose I'm a lucky human. You are more than lucky, she said. You are human, stubborn, brave, and impossible to ignore. Ethan's eyes twinkled. Then I'll take it as a compliment. Months later, Lyra returned to the Thalen Empire with a small group of human envoys. Her brother had been investigated and removed from power. Her people welcomed her back with cautious respect. Ethan remained on the capital world, helping organize human support and diplomatic relations. But his bond with Lyra remained unbroken. They exchanged messages, strategies, and ideas. One evening, as the twin suns set over the capital city, Lyra looked up at the sky. The stars shone brighter than ever. She felt safe, proud, and ready. Her people had doubted her. Her brother had betrayed her, and the galaxy had challenged her. But humanity had stood with her, fought with her, and protected her. She whispered to the wind, I am Princess Lyra, of the Thalen Empire, and I am not afraid. And somewhere far away, Ethan smiled at the stars, knowing that humans had not only survived, they had changed the galaxy for the better, because humans never abandoned those who needed them. Because humans fought not just for victory, but for justice. Because a small alien princess and a stubborn human commander could stand together and the galaxy would never forget it. The stars above the capital world seemed to glow in quiet agreement. They had witnessed courage, they had witnessed heart, and they had witnessed humans at their finest.